Check out the links in my description for more information, for more resources. Check out the podcast. Check out the Facebook groups. Just check out the links. There's a lot of great stuff there. Comment, rate, subscribe, share, like, dislike, whatever you want to do. So this is my Gohan 9-hit chain Zenoh deck. 1 copy of the leader. 4 Awakened Warrior Bardic. 4 Zenoh, the Playing God. 4 Chain Attack Trunks. 4 King Piccolo, 5 Seconds to Eradication. 4 Goku the Eye for 9. 4 Kaioken Goku. 4 Khalifa Skillet. 4 Nappa Super Combo. 4 Testing Opposition. 4 Violent Rays. 4 Goku Junior Vegeta Junior Saiyan Scion. 4 Baby Juvenile Parasite. 4 Sin Shenron Unison Calamity. And 1 Pan the Time Patrol Maiden. I did upload some gameplay of this deck in action. The only difference between this list and the one in the game play is that I took out the Bodyguard Electrics and replaced them with the Baby Juvenile Parasite. I did just get my playset of Baby Juvenile Parasite. And originally I used to have in this deck, because to help with draw power, the lack, this deck does lack in draw power unless you awaken, but it just lacks in draw power in general. You run out of gas a little too fast. I had, what's his name? The King Piccolo Unison, the 2-drop Unison, which was a good addition, really good addition to the deck. But that was limited to 1 per deck, and, I don't want just 1 copy, so Baby Juvenile does help because it does +1 to draw a card, and then it can remove a battle card in the process. It does give my leader a bit of a power boost, and it's a 20k body on my turn when I use this effect, so it is useful. So there's that. So there's a bit of an upgrade for the deck. If you look into gameplay, you obviously will see how this deck works, how to use it. Obviously you want to go in the gameplay. I dropped Goku Jr. And brought out Khalifa. Of course, I used the leader effect to burn my opponent and burst and all that good stuff and get 2 cards in my drop. And then obviously I swung with this, brought minus this effect, brought the 2 skillets to swing with them, so that way I can do about 4 damage, right? 1 damage from the leader, 1 from this, 1 from each Khalifa, so that's 4 damage. And then I, since this isn't drop plus the 2 cards I bursted, that's 3 cards in drop. So when I attack with leader, I combo the card from my hand. Forgot what it was. Probably was a Bodyguard Electric. It doesn't matter. I combo something just to make sure I got 4 cards in the drop. And then I overwhelm to bring out Awakened Warrior Bardic. Let's see. If I'm right. Trying to remember. I think the leader's attack was out comboed. No, that's not what it was. It was one of the Khalifa attacks that was negated, right? Which brought out a blocker. That's what it was, yeah. So he used his testing opposition to stop one of the Khalifa attacks. So he still ended up taking 1 damage because, testing opposition's effect. But now he has a blocker token, which allowed him to block my leader attack. But I comboed anyway, just so I can get 4 cards in the drop, just so I can Awaken Warrior Bardic to swing. But he had 1 energy, he used that 1 energy to play his Violent Rays. So that's what happened in the gameplay turn 1. But I still managed to do 4 damage turn 1, even though I had about 7 damage worth of, I had pretty much 7 damage turn 1, but he was able to wither it down to just 4 damage. But 4 out of 7 ain't bad. The leader, of course, has the ability where you burst to take a card from your life in order to deal your opponent 1 damage if they have 5 or more life. So it's one of the quick ways to get your opponent's life low. When you have 4 or less life, draw 2 cards and awaken. So that helps us with some draw power. Then on the awaken side, auto, when you have 5 or more cards in your drop, you can draw a card when this card attacks. So that's part of our draw power. This one's we awaken. And then it has the once per turn sparking 5. Choose 3 cards from your hand, place them to the drop area, and then all your red and green battle cards gain 10k power for the duration of the turn. So it's a way of boosting, your skillless battle cards and get them up to 20k, easily, your Nappas, that kind of stuff. And then you could just take advantage of those big, strong attackers. What else? We got the Eye for an Eye. When your opponent activates a counter skill, deal 1 damage to them. This definitely has been putting in work. Just this concept alone has been putting in work. It's been making my opponents hesitant to play their counter plays and their counter attacks. So for red, it's definitely a great. It's like our version of Retaliation Cooler or Golden Avenger, right? It's our counter basically, because we just play this, and anytime our opponent tries to play negate, we'll burn them. Because ultimately, our goal is to deal damage. It's even if I was to swing with something that has double strike and they stop it, they still took 1 damage. One damage out of 2 damage ain't bad, right? We'll take what we can get. Especially as a red player, right? We'll take what we can get. What's nice about this King Pickle is that he already has this effect built in. So if your opponent negates this card's attack, they'll get burned for 1. So if they were to use a testing opposition, for example, to negate this card's attack, they'll take a life just to play for free if they're tapped out, right? And then this will deal them an extra damage. You'll take a life, but it'll be worth it if your opponent still takes damage, right? So this makes it harder to play that. Now, if you play this, right, and this is already in play, and you swing with this, and then let's say they do use testing opposition, that will actually be 3 damage, right? They'll take a life for testing opposition, they'll take a life for King Piccolo's ability, and they'll take a life for Goku's Eye for an Eye, so that's 3, just by having these 2 in play, and this one getting its attack negated by its testing opposition. So that's always good. So that's, part of what that's in there for. It's part of the taxes. My opponent tries to play counterattacks or counter plays, they'll get burned. Something funny is to play this and then your opponent drops a Charismatic Living Frieza on it. It's like, alright, we'll take the damage. In the gameplay, you'll see that this will actually deal my opponent 1 damage because they play a counter play against me. Of course, we got the chain attack Trunks and Zenoh combo, which is our main win con. The idea is to drastically reduce our opponent's hand size down to 5, and then take advantage of that and push through and go for game. Obviously, let's see. We have Sin Shinron. This is part of our open hand strategy. This will let us look at our opponent's hand with the -2 ability. This usually is what you want to play before you do the chain attack Trunks combo, because you want to make sure your opponent doesn't have anything to stop you, and you want to be able to play around your opponent's hand and wait for the right time to play this, because obviously this combo right here doesn't have a deflect or barrier, so it is it's weak to counter plays and stuff like that. So definitely want to keep an eye out for that. There's other things obviously take into account, blocker unisons, that kind of stuff. The good thing about Zenoh is that he does clear the board on top of the fact that he clears, he reduces your opponent's hand size down to 5, plus giving you 5 more cards that you can play with. Hopefully you get an Awakened Word Mark so you can get an extra attack. Hopefully you can potentially play out the pan, or at least just have the pan in case you don't beat your opponent that turn. Then you have the pan to help you get an extra turn to try to go for game anyway. So there's that. And then we got another board wipe through the effect of Kaioken Goku by playing him. Any battle card 20 power or less will get KO'd. Plus has the active main. Pay 2 red, pitch this card from your hand if you have a red leader, and choose 1 opponent's battle cards, ignoring barrier and minus 25k from it. So it's a good way to deal with a problematic battle card that has barrier. This can hit a lot of problematic barrier battle cards. Obviously, Khalifa's to go with the Goku Juniors. Nappa definitely puts in a lot of work because it's just reusable combo fodder. Plus a body on board. There's times where I attack with it, obviously, so I definitely use it to free play a lot and do a lot with it. It's definitely useful if you draw this when you have like your Zenoh and your Awakened Warrior Bark, so that you can swing with your Zenoh, combo Nappa, so that way it'll be 25k. It'd be harder for your opponents to out combo that attack, right? Not impossible, just be harder if they have 5 cards in their hands, and then drop this and then swing with this combo Nappa. You have a 30k double strike, and of course you can dump your hand into the attack and just further increase the chances of that double strike going through. So there's that. This has deflect, barrier, and double strike, so it's pretty much immune to a whole bunch of stuff. So, and your opponent can't block this card's attack, so it's pretty perfect. And if your leader card is red when this card attacks, you can choose one of your red unisons and give it a marker. So this is useful, to just charge up your unisons if need be. But by the time you play this, it's mainly just an attempt to go for game. It'll be hard to stop this, because if they negate it, they'll take a damage, right? Especially if this is in play, that's 2 damage just for trying to stop this from attacking. So it kind of works like the 2-drop Piccolo that has the alliance. Kind of works like that one. Of course, testing out position, negate an attack, make a blocker token so you can block an attack, violent raise. Obviously negate an attack. You pitch a card, you can make it where your opponent's battle cards 20k and higher can't attack, or unisons 20k or higher. Obviously, floodgate, negate, that's what that's for. This has the ability where you could +1 to choose 2 of your opponent's battle cards and minus 15k from it, so it's a pseudo board wipe, and it has the ability to make it where your red cards can attack active mode battle cards, so that could come in handy in situations where you're having trouble attacking, getting rid of something, especially something that has barrier in active mode. You can at least attack it, or you could deliberately attack a blocker with your leader, so that way it doesn't block any of your really good attacks, like anything else, like your Awakened Warrior Bark or something like that, right? Because it's your double strike. Of course, Pan. You can use her to take one of your opponent's battle cards by paying 1 energy remover from the game. She gets cheaper by 2 for every battle card in play. And she's a counterattack, so if you have 3 more energy, you can play this card from your hand. Your opponent can't attack with battle cards for the rest of the turn. So this is really good against, slowing down your opponent's battle cards. Especially if they're going wide, but it won't be good, against unisons or leaders, so you still gotta block those. But that's where the testing position come into play. Combine them together, obviously. And that is the end of the video.